Okay, you're live.
All right, we are live. It is November the 18th, Tuesday at 6 p.m. with our regularly scheduled council meeting.
We have public hearing on appropriations, right?
Yep. For the first part of it, we're going to open the floor for public hearing on additional appropriations after we introduce our new member, which is Jeremiah Smith, who joined us when Johnny White left, resigned from the council to take the coroner position here in the county. So after a caucus, Jeremiah was appointed, and this is his first meeting with us. So welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know whether it's congratulations or condolences, but
He can tell
we'll
us.
figure out here in,
Yeah.
here in a little bit.
So figure it out.
But the first portion is the public hearing for additional appropriations that are on the agenda for the night. Is anybody here to speak on or against additional appropriations of anything? Going once, going twice. No comment on that. I'll entertain a motion to
I'll make a
adjourn the
motion.
public hearing. Motion by Miller, second by Lisenby. All in favor? 7-0, adjourning that. For the next portion of the regular meeting, I would ask that we all stand. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by invocation by Mr. Collins. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody, please bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, please guide this board to make the decisions for the county the best we know how. Please help us to compile information and get what we need to make the right decisions. Please watch over Israel, Lord. Thank you for everything you do for us, and please watch over our government, county, state, and federal. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You may have your seats. Kinley, I'm sorry, I didn't give you enough time to get stood up on that. I seen you at the last second. All right, first order of business is with White holding the vice president seat.
I nominate James Ritchie.
Easy enough. A nomination on the floor of James Ritchie, second by John Miller. Man, I hate you. All in favor of James Ritchie.
Vice President of the council. Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. There's no opposed, but.
Yeah. All right. So he will become our vice president of the board. And then, I think the one board that White served on that has to be a council appointment was on the area plan commission,
That's
right?
true. Yes.
And then he can stay on the other ones and we redo those in January anyway.
So,
Okay, so we will have to reappoint. Is anybody interested in serving on the area plan commission board?
Not me.
All right, I'll do it if nobody else wants to, and at least for the next month.
You're gonna let me something else people will yell at you about.
Yeah, no, why not? I'm a glutton for punishment, so. All in favor of me joining that board? 7-0, no opposed. So I guess we'll let them know, and do you know if they have scheduled or meetings, or just somebody email me? and tell
yes,
me
they
when it
do.
is?
I
They're on
kind
Wednesdays, maybe.
they're usually the Wednesday between the commissioner meetings. So
Okay.
the next commissioner meeting should be December the 3rd, but they're at commissioners conference. That one may change, so it'll be about the 10th.
Okay.
Wednesday the 10th.
That'll work. I'll try to remember that.
We'll send
An email out. Okay, thank you. And then we'll leave, if everybody's good with it, we'll leave White on whatever other boards he's on, which was the library and redevelopment. At least until January when we revisit them.
we change them anyways.
Might just leave on then too.
And we might. He's a glutton for punishment.
Well, I'd like to leave him on redevelopment if we can, because we've kind of got some things going, working there that we'd like to stay with and see how.
Okay.
That's possible. That's okay for everybody.
So, any other comments on that? Are we all good there? Next up is clerk's office. Michelle had requested the use of the perpetuation funds so they could begin the process of cleaning up those old records over there. And then a change to the salary ordinance would be, I think, all that would take for that to occur, changing her part-time and then basing that use of the record cleanup. Is that right? And for the change of the salary.
Is it already appropriated? The perpetuation fund?
The money's
The
there.
money's there,
Okay.
it's just
Yeah.
getting it
So we don't have
correct
to
on
do
the
an additional
salary.
Right.
appropriation.
Yeah.
There's no appropriations.
It's, yeah, just moving numbers on the salary.
And I
ordinance.
don't think, unless I sent it earlier, I don't think I have sent you the salary ordinance, so I can do that tonight after the meeting.
Which the changes, part-time's going from the 11, whatever, which we all talked about during budgets for anybody listening, that we would allow department heads to kind of choose their part-time rate, but the overall funding stays the same. So Jennifer's office, for example, was like $11 an hour. It's hard to find anybody to work for that. If she moved it to $15 an hour or whatever she chooses, we would agree based on the fact that the overall funding amount doesn't change. That stays the same. So it would essentially give her less hours to use, but at a higher rate. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what we're doing with Michelle. And it's changing to what, 15? That's, yeah, I pulled a good number. Win one every now and then. So I would entertain a motion to accept the changes to the salary
I'll
ordinance.
make that motion.
Motion by Collins, second by Miller. Any questions or comments on that? All in favor of that change? 7-0 on that. And that's the part-time. And then what do we need to do as far as, does that cover the people in your office? Are they paid at that rate, or what are we doing with the perpetuation part?
So the perpetuation goes to where, we're just going to start, instead of starting it next year, because we already have money already appropriated this year for
Perpetuation.
we're just going to, start where they can start claiming the perpetuation hours now from the clerk to the chief deputy, all the way down to bookkeepers, and then all the second deputies.
So,
We can all start.
Did we just make a change on there, or is that a change in payroll?
We'll be changing both.
Both, correct?
Yeah.
So,
So State Board of Accounts said that it's just changing the salary ordinance to where it said, to where it's one staff member, that we were gonna try to combine with the HADA grant, but we.
Right.
HADA grant this year, so it's just then putting it to the salary ordinance and putting that for the perpetuation usage. It's just changing the salary. Money's already appropriated.
you just need a motion to that amendment of the salary ordinance as well, right?
Yes.
So would accept a motion for a second change of the salary ordinance for the clerk's office to spend the perpetuation funds.
I'll second.
Motion by Lisenby, second by Cheatham. Any questions or comments on that? All in favor, signal 7-0 on that as well.
And then just kind of a cleanup that we had, even though the ordinance was in the agreement with the sheriff for the matrix, we're gonna go ahead and put it in the salary ordinance and sign it just for State Board of Account auditing.
Okay.
And that way it'll be a signature. So if we could just have you, I mean, it was already approved basically in the agreed order. This is exactly the same thing. I just wonder where everybody signed it, so it's a little cleaner when they look at it.
All right,
So,
that'll work. And then that'll be on the 25.
and that's on the 2025, yeah. Okay. So,
All righty, we can do that. That's all on the salary ordinance.
it's all part together, so.
Next up is Brittany with the health department.
I don't have the grant application request. I sent you an email to
Yeah.
put that all there because we heard we weren't gonna get that anyway.
Okay.
So we don't need to approve it if we're not gonna get it.
And then, so you just need the drug-free community
I don't
money?
know what that is. Do you know?
Is that hers?
No,
That's
that
somebody-
is Carissa Miller's.
Okay, so what else?
I just need money moved from EMS part-time to EMS paramedic line.
Okay,
All the part-time and the full-time was taken out of the,
So we need to transfer resolution?
11-214. So I just need it moved from 11-707 to 11-214. It's $10,010.
$10,010. Did you make that resolution? Because now I'm thinking, I don't know if I
think I
saw
did.
that.
we can,
I can go make it real quick.
yeah, if you want, 'cause I can't print that one, or can't print, or else I'd type it right here, but
But I can, tell me those numbers again real quick and I'll get it.
It's coming, $10,010 is coming from, it's all 1161. And it's coming from 11-707, which is the part-time line,
Okay,
to 11-214, which is the full-time line.
okay.
And then that should,
I can get it real quick. 'cause I
It'll be
I don't think we saw
within
it.
major, but no, I've never seen that one. within major budget categories. Would you print two so I'd have one for my packet? Thank you.
You wanna go on the order?
You can put on.
Yeah, I will. Did you say it's all in 1161?
No, 1161, yeah.
It's HFI 1161.
Gotcha. All right, I was just looking at it, but she's got those numbers. If you don't care, I'll jump to Kevin, then we'll come back to you as soon as she gets that. You're up, Kevin. He had an additional appropriation from their auction proceeds for some building materials.
Pass it down to you real quick. I know it's such building materials, but it's actually a slew of a bunch of things. I just want to kind of run through it real quick, if you don't mind.
There.
Oh, sorry.
I need one more. So we recently,
One more, Colin.
got one more.
So we got,
Anybody get two?
who'd you leave out on purpose, Kevin?
Here, pass that. You need one?
You need one to look at?
I got one.
Here,
All right.
I need to example.
Who got it?
We recently sewed some additional stuff on our back row, stuff that we wasn't using, different equipment and stuff, so these are the things that we're looking at. It's more than just building materials, so I kind
What
of
order?
clarify that. But we're looking at a service bed to make a service truck with, air compressor for that, mixing pad and block, that's on our building where we mix, cinders and salt. That's approximate prices. The gutter, snow break, commissioner did approve that.
That's on that new building.
Yeah, it's on the new, that did get approved, J.A. Roddy got that,
Bid.
yeah, well. We're looking for
Can you hear me?
frying tanks. I'm looking for used ones,
I'm looking for
hoping to catch some on the auction side. I put $6,000, they're very high, but, we've not been able to secure any yet. Oil water separator, still gotta get, and then we just got some budgeted numbers in there for some replacement chainsaws, road saw, handles for the trucks. We also need a salt replacement bed or salt bed for pickup. We got that in there. And then approximate numbers for do some repairs on the gutters, poles to the existing building behind the shop. Just some beat up stuff that took over the years, and boards, bed, and so on and so forth. I just kind of want to run down what that money was.
This all coming out of the auction.
That's all in the auction fund, yeah. Obviously, this ain't anything we're gonna complete, finish in 2025.
so we just changed the numbers advertised, or we just,
No, that's what's, she actually advertised that. I think I sent this first and then there was an additional email, but it's advertised at 63. Which you've got 63,800.
And
She advertised
I just,
63,
these
so
numbers are all.
you're good with 800 bucks less, right?
A lot of this stuff, this is
Yeah.
numbers that we come off our head of.
so you're good with 6,300, is that?
Yeah. Okay.
63,000.
63.
I'm not cutting you that bad.
I moved.
Listen to Collins up there, 63.
That's a Johnny White.
Trying to jig it down, man. So I move that we accept this additional appropriations as he needs.
So motion on the floor from Collins on ordinance 2025-84, seconded by Lisenby to approve for the 63,000 out of the auction fund for the highway
Resolution 33.
into the building materials, which is, it's all going under supplies. Will that do what you need, or does it need?
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. So with it being in the auction, if we don't, obviously, we're not gonna spend it 63.
It'll revert back to the auction fund.
Do we have to ask for it again in 2026?
Yeah. We would have to, yeah. Which whatever you didn't use, it would revert back to that auction fund where it came from. And then in 26, if we needed to, we could just redo this for.
The only thing that we might be able to carry over is if we have an invoice or something.
You might
Yeah.
want to do an appropriation just every year, like when we budget for 27 next year, you could
Okay.
just say, okay, for building, I want $75,000 to appropriate it, so that way you don't have to keep coming in.
We don't have that much to sell.
Yeah, yeah.
Not sold at all.
But you can always budget what you expect to come into, like if you know you're gonna auction $20,000 and stuff, and you wanted to budget it 15,000 in building supplies, you could do that, and then it would be there. But the only options is either budget form when we do budgets or additional appropriations. It's the only two ways to use it. So, motion and the second, all in favor of the 63,000 from auction funds, any opposed? 7-0. What else you got, Kevin?
I think we have the 40, I don't have that paper in front of me, 42,000 for, the asphalt line, and that's basically just passes the appropriation of the money we spent on the loaders.
Where's what?
Last month.
Do you want to send that and sign it? Or-
No, I'm just gonna put them on here.
All right.
Because we have somebody else.
Which one?
Jennifer, you have the 49,803.
Is it 49 or 42?
There's three different. I think-
She advertised
Yeah.
4983, 2,083 for professional services, 5,000 tires and parts, and 42 for paving.
That sound right?
I think it's at the very end.
We could probably.
Got it. So this is ordinance 2025-85. Is a request for an additional appropriation from the 1176 highway funds going to personal services, $2,083, supplies of $5,000, other services and charges of $42,000, the total $49,803, which covers, like we said, it's,
Like you said, the 42,000 is for.
that is for the loader, right?
Yeah, we paid for the loader out of the paving line.
And it's moving out.
You said somebody said paving, somebody said loader, I just want to make sure it was.
Yeah,
It was
I think they-
advertised out of paving.
I think they used a line and then they're fixing the lines back is what they're doing.
I move we approve.
Motion to approve, sorry, I had a moment. Miller with the second. All in favor of that, signal with aye. We put 6 and then me abstain since it has to do with that loader. Not that I don't approve yours, I just am not getting myself involved in separate business. You need anything else, Kevin?
I did.
I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right. Back to Brittany on that one. I'm sorry, I think I dropped the ball on this transfer. But it's a resolution to transfer between major budget classifications. $10,200 from part-time to the EMS paramedic, which covers the community paramedicine program. I would entertain a motion to accept
10,000 what?
200, 10,200.
Oh, she's-
I think she said 2010, did I?
2010.
10,00010.
We can,
$10,000,
Did I
$10.
put the wrong number on there?
10,000.
Here, you want me to go
I'll
change it real
just,
quick?
I'll just mark it out. It's fine.
Okay,
10,000.
$10,000, right?
Yes.
Going once.
So I have 10,010.
Yeah, yeah.
Point zero zero.
Point zero, all right. $10,010 on 2025-33. Boy, I can't wait to read the minutes on this. Hope Kenley does me right over there. From part-time to paramedic. Motion from Lisaby, second by
Whoever.
Richie this time. All in favor of that? 7-0 on that one. Brittany, you need anything else from us? Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
Brittany.
You can't sign that one. Unless you want to just stay with it, whatever.
All right.
Sign. They can pass them around. I just put them in a couple of these.
Next up was the coroner's office, and he said, oh, geez. They're all hard on you up here. So Johnny had sent me this, request, which I'll put up there. I think the first thing we need to do is within his budget, he would like to create 3 new lines, one for equipment, one for office supplies, and one for wearing apparel. There wasn't any equipment line existing previously. Office supplies, he's begged, borrowed, and steal everything from reams of paper from people because there wasn't a line. And wearing apparel would cover like badges and jackets and things like that for them. So first, I would accept a motion to create 3 new lines within his,
Resolution.
but you have them in the resolution?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
tell me
We
which
can do that.
resolution you wanna do first.
Either one of them. Throw me one and we'll go with it.
Okay,
Those one I think I have.
okay, we're on 34.
Okay. Jeremiah, you drinking from a fire hose down there yet? You will be. The first one is Resolution 2025-34, and it is moving from the body bag toe tag line, which has roughly $1,600 in it. 300 of that to a newly created line of equipment. So I would entertain a motion to create a line and fund the money if you so choose.
I'll second.
Motion from Miller, second by Richie. Any questions or comments on that one? All in favor? 7-0 on that. They're, started out like $2,000 in this body bag line for the coroner's office that hadn't been used. And so he bought some that he thought he would need for the rest of the year. And we're just trying to move that money around rather than do a bunch of additionals for him. So keeping with that, in resolution 2025-35, it's from that same line, the body bag toe tag, $300 into office supplies. And it would be creating the line of office supplies and
I'll
transferring.
make that motion.
Miller with the motion, Collins with the second. Any questions or comments on that one? All in favor? 7-0. Next one up for the coroner's office is 2025-36. It's moving $500 from that body bag toe tag line to a newly created line for wearing apparel. So you'd be creating a line and funding it with a transfer. So a motion
I'll second.
Collins with the motion, Miller with the second. All in favor of that one? 7-0 on that one as well. I think. 2025-37, a resolution to transfer from $300 from the body bag toe tag line to travel expense. There was a travel expense line. There was some money in it, but a training has come up that possibly both of them would be able to go to, and they needed a little bit more funding. So again, asking for a transfer rather than an additional on this one. Motion by Collins, second by Lisenby. All in favor of the transfer? You in or out on that, Jeremiah? You good on that? All right, sorry, I didn't see it. I thought maybe he was gonna get a no in on Johnny.
No.
2025-38 is a resolution for a transfer going from the body bag toe tag line to dues and subscriptions in the amount of $200. And this would pay their coroner dues and fees. Motion by Collins, second by Lisenby. All in favor of that? 7-0.
You know, this goes a lot smoother when John's not here. You guys know
Yeah,
that?
I have noticed
that. I'm here. He ain't said a word. He's just like, yeah.
No,
Uh,
if it wasn't going so smooth, I'd actually be messing with it.
2025-39, a transfer of transfer of appropriations from the postage line, which had $120 in it. He said he doesn't see any need in that. Could better use it in office supplies, so it would go to that newly created, which we've already agreed to, office supplies line. So, motion to.
I'll make that motion.
Miller with the motion, Lisenby with the second. All in favor of that? 7-0.
Next will be the additional appropriation for 10,000.
And then one change that I think you could probably do in your office, Jennifer, in their budget, the data phone line, can we just change that to a phone bill? Because instead of them getting stipends for phones, he has county bought phones, so they don't actually get the phone stipend check. We would just pay that bill out of it.
Okay.
Does that make more
Probably,
sense?
yeah.
Or do you want motion on that? What do you
No,
want?
if you're fine
Tell
with
me.
that, I mean, yeah, go ahead and make a motion. Yeah, just cover it. Make a motion that we will, put that back to a phone line.
Okay.
There will be account number,
I just don't want it to be confusing.
That it's
moving
like we're
forward.
paying a bill here and then we send a check out.
Yeah,
by the
because
state.
every other thing, it's called a phone stipend. We pay the
To the
person a check. And they have county-owned phones, so he's just gonna pay the bill out of that line.
Yes. Yeah.
So I would entertain a motion to change or modify his current budget from saying data phone line to phone bill.
I'll second.
Elizabeth with the motion, Miller with the second, all in favor of that. 7-0 on that. That cleaned it up a little bit easier for you.
Yeah, well, and it was, I'm sorry,
Elizabeth made the motion, Miller had the second. And then last but not least is a request of an additional appropriation into the autopsy line. There was several that done, you need that. And I think we've had a couple. One sadly was a child death and we need to pay for some of these. So Johnny believes that $10,000 would pay the current outstanding bills and give him enough to get through if we had to have a couple more for the end of the year. So I would entertain a motion from the general fund to the coroner's office.
I move that we take the 10,000 out of general.
I second it.
Collins with the motion, Miller with the second, all in favor of the $10,000 additional. Any opposed? Alright, now I think that's it for coroner, right? You need anything else? Did I cover it all? Alright,
Thank you for service. First time in 3 years. Seen anybody- First time in 3 years we've seen anybody.
more than that.
See, I did good. Stephanie Sears.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure to meet you and I appreciate you serving in that role.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. And
I mean, let's give it up for John for remembering to introduce me.
Right.
It is indeed.
Brittany nudged him behind you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding completely. Yeah. Her face was like, what?
Smacking the
He
head.
introduced me, I had to introduce myself.
See?
Oh, I forgot.
Gosh.
I told him.
I'm horrible.
It's a wonder you didn't have to bring Teresa to keep you in line. But no, I appreciate it. Thank you. All righty. We're done with that. Do you want to do that tax sale contract thing?
of the additional,
Yeah, we can do it and then,
okay, we can do that.
do you want me to share those numbers we talked about that we estimate the end of the year, or do you want?
If you want to, you can, yes. And then we also have, I think Kenny's got them. There's a Form 61 that the treasurer and I balance with. So this will show you the end of the funds and how we balance at the end of October this year. We'll pass that out. We'll try to get it, with this meeting being later, we got it in time. We may not when it's the second Tuesday again, but I'll try to have those for you available. If I don't print them for you, they'll at least be emailed to you so you can see what all the funds have. And that there is a balance between the auditor's office and the treasurer's office. Why don't you take these days, and why don't you guys take them and pass them down?
While we're talking, I had sent Jennifer an email and said, what about the idea of sending out an email to department heads saying, are all these mine, or they?
Take one.
Yeah.
Did you have one for me or do I need?
Send out a thing to department heads just saying like, if you need an additional, you need a transfer, you need whatever, get it to us by whatever date, and that way, hopefully the end of year looks a little bit cleaner for them,
I
so.
don't think John does.
There should have been enough.
They were able to send out that answer or that email and saying that they're gonna process claims and get everything kind of closed out special claims by December the 19th after an approval of the 17th on the commissioners meeting.
Yes, but let's clarify that.
So we need all
The claims
claims.
would be turned into Mandy before 8 AM on the 15th, which is Monday morning.
So Monday morning at 8 AM, December the 15th, if you have any kind of a claim, it needs to be turned into Mandy in the auditor's office no later than 8 AM Monday morning, December the 15th. If it comes in after that, it is going to come out of your 2026 budget and will not be paid until January. So, does that sound fair to everybody? Otherwise,
We can't have that mess we did last year.
we can't. We have to stop it, and I think that's a fair way of putting out plenty of time, because they don't deserve to be in here at the end of the year
Right, yeah.
processing claims either. So if any department has something going on, Monday, 8 AM, December the 15th, if you don't have it, then from that point on, it will become a 2026 claim. So it's kind
And
of,
truthfully, just to make another statement, anything that needs to be advertised for the December 9th meeting, I have to have it turned in by noon Friday, this coming Friday. If there were to be, God forbid, some sort of emergency, we had to do an advertisement and do a special meeting. The very last time I could advertise in 2025 to get it done by the end of the year in 2025 is December the 12th, that Friday. That's the very last date that I can turn it in, get it printed in time, or get it where it's advertised long enough to be done.
Thank you, Cameron.
Jennifer, I don't know what I did with that email. I'm sorry. I'm
You want me to go
strumming through here, but unless I hit delete or something, I don't know. But let me look. Maybe I lost. Anyway, I had asked for a rough idea of where we will end the year on some funding, and she put together some numbers. I'll find it. I'll send it out to everybody, because I think it's in one of these chain emails that it puts together. But we're going to be close and tight, but I think we do have, we're not going to be negative.
No.
But I think we'll be the lits will be real tight. The
I think the
general,
public, and I don't have the, to the minute, but like 83,000 in public safety is what I'm thinking. I can't remember the number, and special purpose, and it's gonna be 700,000 something after, if we do everything tonight on the general.
Yeah. So the one question I have is, do we want to revisit the idea of a small group of people that didn't get any kind of bonus or anything whatsoever in the county for 25? Or do we want to say we're tight, we're sorry, we can't? But I think there's roughly 45 or 50 people, I think, on that list you sent me that are full-time employees that they did not get any kind of a raise in 25 or anything at all.
Are you talking about the court, are we talking courthouse?
Mostly courthouses where they would be. It's been a long time. I can dig that up.
That's been a while back.
I can dig it up and put it together and send it to you guys if we want to look at it. But
You'd
if
have to get
so,
it advertised
we need to
again on
advertise by
December.
this upcoming
How many people did you say?
40, 45 roughly, I would
We'd
think.
have to do it Friday for the December 9th meeting, or if you wanted to do a special meeting, we could do it by
We're not
December
doing
the
it.
12th.
I'm assuming that would exclude us and the commissioners.
When I put together those numbers and I asked Jennifer, and this is on me, if we want to change, we can do it, however the board decides. But my opinion was, if you're an elected official, you signed your name to it, we're in this for the long haul.
I'm good
So
with
I
that.
excluded all elected officials and only full-time employees, and narrowed it down as tightly as I could. But the core group of people that work for the county, I mean, if there was something we could give them, that would be, my vote would go to that.
You can advertise it, we can talk about it on the 9th.
Well, I agree with that. 'cause I had a-
So I can,
How much is expected to be left in the general fund at the end of the year?
around
It
seven,
was 7,000.
7,700,000.
700,000.
So if you did $1,000 a person, that'd still be
Right.
45,000.
I agree with you, just because of the conversation I had with people today, the first, we was talking about the tax, the bond, and the first words out of their mouth, you gotta vote yourself in a raise. And I had to explain, go through a long detail, how all the people in the county hadn't had raises, yada, 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 and we're not.
Right.
So I agree with you 100% there. I don't want that perception going out there.
But I think you know, right, if we could get it in, Jennifer could get the checks cut, maybe it'd help a family or two out before Christmas. And these people get up and come to work every day and put their heart and soul in this county as much more than we do even. And I mean, I think there's something there that we could do. I don't think we could stand to empty the coffers or borrow money to pay people or any of that business. I totally understand that. And I want to be good stewards of the money. But if we could have, you know, $1,000 or $1,500 could maybe change somebody's end of year pretty drastically.
We gotta tell her what you need to, what you want her to advertise.
Well, if she advertises it for the 9th meeting, then by then she have a better number of what we're gonna have left.
Right.
Yeah.
So
We should know after tonight.
Yeah,
what we're gonna have
Make
in
a
this.
better
And she
decision.
could send that out. I could send that. I can get that list narrowed down to, I don't really want to put people's names out, but I'll put them to all of us and you
Exactly.
as who we're thinking. And then I can break it down to like departments as how many people if you want. But if we advertised $75,000, that'd be $1,500 times 50 people. What's everybody's thoughts on that? Do you want to
I
go?
think it's perfectly good with me.
I mean, I think it's,
I think it's needed.
As long as we got money at the end of the year, that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Right. We can't be in their end, can't borrow.
And that's
Well,
why-
you can appropriate lower at the meeting, but you can't go higher
That's
than
true.
what she
Yeah.
advertises, so.
So if you wanna advertise that, I'm fine with that. That's
you
all.
know,
75.
let's make a note of that and we'll narrow it down. And I will dig that email up and I'll put together a list for you,
Well, and people have changed. If you want, we'll kind
tweak it as we
of
go.
tweak it and look back
Okay.
in.
Is that taxes taken out as well?
I mean.
It would
Like
have,
have to
it would have to be,
Yeah.
which, I mean, we can't fix that, but
I know.
out of 1,500, you're talking, that'd still leave them with 1,200 bucks probably on the high end. All right, that was one thing that was on my mind and I didn't put it together, but I've thought about it and wanted to ask your all's opinion. What I had asked for a minute ago was it's kind of under the commissioner fund, but I'll put it under Jennifer's name because she deals with it a lot. It's the tax sale contract and it's a request for an additional appropriation for $10,559.
Yeah, I have that to you already.
Yeah, I got it. It's on ordinance 2025-87.
That's to pay taxes.
And
back to people.
It's actually when they sell from a tax sale, this pays the company that contracts the sale, right?
Yes.
That handles the whole thing, start to end. So in order to get a tax sale, you've defaulted on your taxes. It has to be advertised 2 different papers, I think, at least 2 times or something.
Well, and we're kind of
It's a
stuck with that.
process.
It is. It's several processes and the way they change it. I'll be honest with you, it is a lot of money, but they do a lot of work for this.
And it's
It would
a
never
company that handles it all, so we don't have
How
to,
much is it we're asking for?
an additional
And that's to go to the
$10,559.
company that
Yes, that goes to
Yeah.
SRI.
because, again, I was hearing all this, but I don't know exactly why we're doing this.
It was budgeted originally,
I mean, we owe them the money?
Yes, we do.
We already owe.
We already owe the money.
Okay,
yes.
all right.
we budget money for it every year, but I think we had more than what we budgeted is my
Yeah.
understanding.
Okay. I know that.
And I think some of that, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has to do with the LAO going in and doing some of those audits and changing some of that tax stuff. Or is that-
Not on this one, not on this one so much, yeah. The other was where they were
The other
finding, that was on the tax sale, surplus and
So we-
refunds.
We budget 20,000 for tax sale contract in 25, so
So it went over 10,000.
went over 10,559. So I would entertain a motion to accept, so we have to pay him. So, but Liz will be with the motion, Collins with the second. All in favor of paying that bill? 7-0.
And just public service, we had, I think out of the properties, we had 15 that sold and 17 that did not. Some of those are railroad. And there was an issue out at Lexington on a certificate sale that we had last year, that a property sold really high. Well, we've got a attorney that's gotten involved in that. Come to find out there were some things some of that stuff should have been taken off our tax rolls a long, long time ago. Didn't happen. So we're trying to work right now and getting that all separated out so that they'll go back to like the original farms or land that it came from. It'll go back on somebody's tax roll, so that will be paid, but it's also not just hanging out there, just a strip somewhere that is not as useful. So that's something else we're trying to call out for them.
Workers' comp insurance?
Yes, that was where our departments work overtime, and they'll do another audit throughout the year, how many hours. And we always get a second bill for our workman's comp because we worked overtime, that the bill went up on the insurance.
Of course it did. And that one is ordinance 2025-88, and it's out of the commissioner's budget lines for workman's comp, additional appropriation of $27,731. Motion to accept that one. James Ritchie with the motion to accept, Justin Cheatham with a second on it. Any questions or comments from council members? All in favor? 7-0 on that. All right. Which one you got next?
Let's see, then would be the commissioner's additional appropriation for
For the
attorney's
attorney
expenses,
expenses.
yeah.
This one is ordinance 2025-89, and I think there was kind of a cumulative effort for this one. Zach opted in a meeting without much conversation, I guess, with the commissioners or anybody else to use a portion, kind of a $10,000 portion of his appropriated money to pay for the attorney for the sheriff's office on a bill that was agreed upon that it would be paid in a certain time. So they did that, and then we asked Jennifer to advertise an additional appropriation of $10,000 that would go back to their attorney, because I, along with many others and several of you, I think feel Zach does good work for them and good work for the county and deserves to be paid for what he does. So I would entertain a motion to accept the $10,000.
But that's what he did, was pay it out of his pocket, right?
He paid it out of his
He was
line.
he was willing to give it up. He said, just take the $10,000
Yeah.
and don't pay me the
And
rest of the year.
I'm with
whatever.
you on that, but I'm seeing 5,000, we're hearing 10,000.
No, you're
Am I
looking
seeing
at,
this wrong?
That's a different line.
that's a different line,
The
additional appropriation for
5,000
attorney
is
expenses.
venture rental proceeds.
We don't have everything on our agenda.
Well, I just don't see it on here. That's-
You still have the
You're right.
amount. It
I'm sorry.
says,
I didn't put that.
It
It's
didn't
on
put the
here.
dollar
it
amount.
says additional appropriation for attorney expenses.
Yeah.
It just don't have a
Okay.
dollar amount.
But it was $10,000, I think what that bill was, and he just
Yeah.
opted to ask it be paid out of the attorney expenses line, which is what he is paid out of. And so we were asking to do an additional to put the 10,000 back in there.
Now, has he just done that once, or has he done it twice? Did he do that
Well,
last year?
He's
too?
done
was
it once, but he
twice.
had a bill that he told you not to pay the whole thing or something, right?
Yes, I was gonna say, I think it was in the month of September. He went on vacation, he missed the meeting, and that's when we were doing the request for proposals for our insurance company. And he, asked, I think it was Bo Zellers, was it Bo?
I don't know.
Somebody with Frost Brown Todd. He
Probably
asked us to pay, he said, just pay me 2,000 out of my 4 and use the other 4,000. So there's a
The other
remainder.
2,000 for about-
Yeah,
So
the other 2,000 went to them.
is it 10,000 or what is it altogether? He
That's
spent
all
on
we
his
can
pocket?
do because that's all we advertise right
Yeah.
now. So I guess
I'm just curious what the
technically,
total was though. Do you know?
technically he is, he's given up
He's given up $12,000.
12,000.
He gave up 12,000, but honestly, out of that, so far, I've only got a bill for about $150 on them.
Okay,
So, I mean, that's still in the line that we could
It's still
use.
there.
But we also had another incident come up that he's asked us again privately to.
I move that we put the 10,000 in the attorney expenses.
I agree. So Collins has made a motion to accept ordinance 2025-89 in the amount of 10,000 with somebody seconding, Justin Cheatham with the second. All in favor of that? 7-0.
We're gonna do venture next, or without that?
What was it for? It just says like unappropriated
Okay, they
something.
had an unappropriated line, it was unappropriated, and out of that came, there was a tree that was cut down. And then part of a mower, I believe. No, it wouldn't have been the mower. Hang on.
Mower's a sore subject. man.
So we done took care of that
You
20
can't throw
We
mower.
did not, but the mower was, I'll have to go back and look. There was one more bill that was paid. So that line is negative. That was done at the first of the year. Mandy went ahead and paid it and didn't think because they've been used to using that. That was one of the things they did. So that's just to clean up a negative line right there. And it was, I know there was a tree here that was cut. I can't remember what else.
Do we need to keep an unappropriated line or?
You know
that-
what, we
that
use
seems
those,
like
and
that
I'm kinda like you, that's one of the things, because, like, if I get called to a meeting, State Board of Council calls me to a meeting, it doesn't come out of my training line.
Right.
There's actually an unappropriated line in the commissioner's budget, we left it in there, but that should really, instead
I've
of.
never
Why would there
understood
be
that.
other
It's always been that way.
Well, and I would just think that would be like SBOA waving a red flag if you have an unappropriated line.
You know, that, it's, again, it's another one, thing, they really haven't said anything about it, because it's like what we use it for. Yeah, it should maybe say training or something like that, so,
Maybe it's something we look at.
next year.
26 years. So I would
We cleaned up a
entertain,
lot of lines this year,
We
but I
did.
think we've got some more to do.
I mean, I think we've done every budget cycle that I've been involved in, we've done a little bit
We're
better.
getting there, yeah.
I mean, it's getting there. It seems to
I
be.
move we appropriate $5,000.
Ordinance 2025-90, motion by Collins to appropriate the 5,000, second by Miller. All in favor? 7-0.
I did not have the transfer for the recorder's office, $83.09 from one part-time to
You
another.
know what, I'm not sure I'm funding that one either. You want me to run and do that? one?
I guess so, yeah. So can you give me
You
the
have the
resolution for the
visitors
visitors commission,
commission one?
and I'll get
I
that
think
one.
I've got. Here's one for circuit court. Hang on.
Just
We
give me
had-
what you have left.
I'll say we have a couple that slipped through the cracks somewhere.
I think we did, yeah.
Well, I have one for the visitors commission.
Here's the visitors commission. Here you go. I'll go make this one.
So
I'll be
we
right
are
back.
on rest.
So Visitors Commission requesting to transfer within their own budget $250 from travel expenses to dues and subscriptions.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
The motion by Miller, the second by Collins, all in favor of that transfer, 7-0.
You want to, what do we got? She just gave me circuit court, right?
Which, this one is one that slipped through the cracks somewhere. It
In
was from,
September, right?
yeah, circuit court, so I guess we need to make a motion to amend the agenda for a couple of transfers that came through late.
I'll make that motion.
Justin Cheatham makes a motion to amend the agenda for some transfers that we need to address, seconded by Miller. All in favor of that amendment, 7-0 on that. And the first one of those is on resolution 2025-41, which is for Scott County Circuit Court, should have been back in September. $500 from postage to travel expenses. Motion for that. Elizabeth has made a motion for that, second by Richie. All in favor of the transfer for circuit court, 7-0.
Kenley, can you look through her stack and find me the resolution for transfer from the 911? It should say Scott County 911.
Probably.
I just sent it today.
The next one we're gonna talk about, it's a transfer. We're gonna approve the transfer, but it's kind of
Yeah.
pending because the commissioners are going to talk about an employee at the 911 center that had left and coming back, and I think the county standard procedure is to give you your longevity back. And
Yep,
so
$800 from Chiefs Dispatch.
they don't have that money in the longevity line, and they're asking to transfer
I
between
just
their
drafted it today.
budget for that.
They never should have took it away in the first place, in my opinion.
Okay.
For what?
Took longevity away, separate that one.
Well, they didn't take This one, they didn't really take it away. The employee left and was gone for a period of time. They
I know,
came
but
back.
the policy before that
think-
was if you continue and they changed the
Yeah,
policy.
you get it. I didn't know that, but that's what I guess they're gonna talk about tomorrow. So I just didn't want this employee to have to wait on a check. So that's why I said we would go ahead and do this, transfer. The money will be there. If they so choose to allow the longevity, it'll be on the commissioner board. So that is resolution 2025-42. I would entertain a motion to transfer $800 from chief dispatcher to longevity line. Motion by Lisaby,
Second.
second by Miller. All in favor of that? 7-0. Which that's within their budget. It's just moving it around, but I don't want an employee to have to wait on a check.
And like, can you find me the ordinance for the Sasco shortfall fund? It should be eight.
That's all of the
8,000.
extra ones we had, right?
Yeah, I have a couple other little things.
Okay.
We'll do the appropriation.
The next thing up is what's always on our agenda, the transfer station.
Thank you.
It's that thing, it didn't need a budget and don't need any funding that we vote on every meeting. The first up is the Sasco shortfall, and it's $8,148.
Thank
So it
you.
would come out of general to cover the Sasco bag system, and I guess we didn't, how do we get this? We bought stickers and didn't sell enough for that
That's what
Sasco
happened.
thing. We bought the stickers and didn't sell them.
They're still here.
I don't need
And I think that's what most people figured out is they don't need them, so we've got them sitting here, if anybody wants to purchase them, but truthfully, it's cheaper for them to go down there and have their trash weighed anyway.
But I have had people ask about it.
They
They
can
wanna
come
buy
They
it.
can come
Yeah,
here
come
to
get
get
them.
here. I don't know if like, Leroy's out at Lexington or any of those places might still have some, they had been buying some on and off, but they really slowed down because they knew the satellite stations were going to close.
I suppose it depends on how big a bag you got when
Yeah.
you go out there, whether you get a savings that way or
I
not.
think they're charging 5 cents a pound, so it'd have to be
It's-
30 pounds in your
I
trash bag
agree.
would
I
make
agree.
it eat.
You find a bag that'll hold 30.
That's what I'm thinking, somebody's doing better than I am.
They might come in, who knows what the
Yeah, so
sticker on it.
hopefully the last portion of Sasco that we have to hear about is on this ordinance. It's an additional appropriation from the general fund for $8,148 to pay for the stickers that we bought.
Who we paying for that sticker? The Sacco company?
Well,
It's,
This, what that is, and I don't think any of the stickers, I think those were still paid for and covered while we were still in the black. This has been the contract with Todd Campbell.
so this pays the
Yeah,
rest of
and
that.
that's all been paid off, so we're finished there, but that was what was left.
on this
I can
I'll
contract.
make a motion that we pay the Sasco bags.
So a motion by Collins to pay the Sasco, second by Miller. All in favor? Done.
What was that, was that 225? Oh, that was 90.
91. Yep.
Mm.
And then next up is out at the transfer station. It's in personal services
I got it all.
of $8,960. And then other services and charges of $2,042.
And that 2042, we can actually do a little bit less. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
We
Oh, sorry.
had 2 bills on that weren't paid. One of them, we ended up, when they did the paving out there, they moved it in the commissioner's line.
Right.
There were, and I don't know what the concrete stops that go in front of a parking lot. There was a couple of those for around $120.
Bumpers.
Bumpers, whatever, they're added in there, but we went ahead and paid that out of the commissioner line where the paving was. So that one was paid. Give me a second. I've got it here somewhere in these papers. Plus Jason Babs has a bill that
Is it attached to your ordinance?
it might be,
19, 21, 25 instead? Okay,
okay,
so instead of 2042, we're gonna do 19, 21, 25 is gonna be the request.
So what's
So,
the personal services, why are we over 9, like we did 25,000, which should pay 2 people part-time, right?
they're working more to get, because I think at the start of the year, they were working one person at a time, and now they're doubling them up. Because our first payrolls, I looked, there were like 1,095 per payroll, and the last one was 2,160 for payroll. So I think now if they're operating the scales, they might have two people out there at a time.
So they're gonna have one in the shed and then one
That's what I'm thinking.
watching them unload. I
And
think
I'm not certain, I'm just watching what the payroll did. I don't know what.
that makes sense.
Will make sense if they're paying for it, but whenever we keep paying more and more money, it don't make sense to me. But I'm only voting
But we've only got 500 and,
in that, that's what
I think it's like 583 left in
This will
that.
finish the year out, pretty much what you're saying.
That should, unless something big, but that's the way I'm planning. I mean, from what I've seen and what they've got, I think it should.
What did we use, one of the last meetings, it was the $7,000 that the commissioners wanted to use to buy supplies from City Hall. That went to,
That went to office
Hey.
supplies.
Didn't
And they
expect-
did use that, but I think some of that's still sitting there.
We
no, I
initially,
thought it went
we
to.
initially did the paving
But
in, out of that like murder trial thing, we transferred them 12,000 for paving. And
we
then,
did like 7,000 to payroll.
But then we moved it back over
Moved
to
it.
auction.
yeah, to
I
something,
think.
I don't remember, yeah, we did move it though, you're right, I just don't remember exactly.
Because that's supposed to,
Well, and we did an adjustment. I don't know exactly.
You all didn't spend anywhere near $7,000 out there, did you?
Auction.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll say it was way
We
under
did
that.
put 6,480 in there at some point
in what, was that?
into the transfer station manager.
Yeah.
That's,
So it's already been at 31,480 is what you
Mhm.
show.
and
so
we
now
spent
we're-
28.
I mean,
So like
we're
I said-
way over budget on personnel already.
And I'm sorry, the last time I printed this off was before the last payroll, so I'm still showing that there's 2,700 in there, but I checked it just before and it's like 500 and something.
And do we have any, not to,
What's on the salary ordinance for the transfer station? One person or two people?
To,
Part-time.
But it's two people, part-time to equal one person.
yeah, it's not.
because it was like
it's
one
not.
person, before, I think before the scales, there was one person that worked one day and one person worked the next day. But now I think they've got two people there,
But they didn't ask for a salary ordinance amendment?
no.
Well, I don't know that we can do that. I think we have to amend the salary ordinance because by statute, this body sets the number of personnel. So
Well-
they would have to agree to two full-time people, and what you're telling me is you've agreed to two part-time people, or one full-time, or two people on,
There is two part-time people,
right?
so
They're just
even though
working,
they're working them double, I think they're still,
they're still
There's
part-time.
Two part-time people.
So they're not working more than 30 hours a week? Okay, good.
so basically
But they're
there
just
isn't,
working them
there,
at the same time.
We're
We're
not going with the one to give the one person more money.
it
What
just
did
was
they do with
never,
that?
They've asked for it, but it's not ever been appropriated. It's not been put on here or anything
Okay.
like that. That's something we'll need to look at the first of the year on the
Okay.
26 budget.
Well, if the pay keeps going up, we just need to make sure we don't get ourselves into trouble where these people are working more hours than they're
Yes.
supposed to, and we get into a situation where they would be considered full-time, or we gotta get benefits and stuff like that, because I don't think what the salary ordinance has that on there.
And they're not in the budget next year anyway.
Yeah, they don't have a budget, so.
not to be realistic, do we have solid numbers coming out of there yet as far as what they're
Bringing
bringing in?
Yes, we do. Don't- I can tell, I've got them in the wrong fund. I hate to say, the daily stuff that goes in, that was supposed to have November 1st gone to the new fund. We did not. I looked today and that didn't get changed, so I'm gonna have to make some claim adjustments there. There were two bills from the city of Austin that also went in, but that was before we had decided to put them over. We're gonna put those over. And then that's one of the things, I got halfway there, that's why I was looking today. I don't have to say, because I didn't get to pull the disposal fee for a month and see, because I still am not sure we've got a disposal fee that's gonna show a full month of us operating at the price, because the scale, whatever month, started halfway through. So until then, we were charging $285 a load to Austin, and most of the loads have been like $400 now that we're doing per pound prices. So we lost some money there that,
Well,
just kind of,
we'll have to come up with a resolution or something to do those line corrections and do that in
Yeah.
December, but we'll get,
that's
we'll
what I'm
get it
saying, we'll
cleaned
get
up.
that. And that's, I mean, I can add it up, but it's just not gonna show in line right now.
But it's starting to come the other way now, pretty much.
I think so.
We're starting to make,
Yeah, I just have not been able, we're gonna need a couple of months to see, because your disposal fee lines come about 3 months later than what. So what your income is showing might show when it was a lighter month that what we threw away, or what we paid to dispose of.
Well, I was just
So I need to
curious,
kind of get
considering
those,
we
yeah,
didn't budget anything for them, and if they're gonna be working two people, as opposed to the one? Are they still gonna be what they
Well,
think,
I
in
think-
green or black?
I
or-
think what they're doing there is they're getting more, and they're getting more people coming to it now. Since it's opened up, there people are seeing that it's working,
Gotcha.
and they have a lot of traffic through there.
Well, they were supposed to be opposite shifts, right? That second part-time person was
Yes.
just supposed to cover when the first one
Right.
needed off or whatever, and
But-
now they're
Well,
working.
Prior to the scale,
We all heard it.
the one employee said that that was what was gonna happen, is they would have to man two, because there's no way they was gonna be able to go to the scale, weigh them, go back over to the dump site, dump them, go back, it was just, because they
That makes
already back up in the road as it is, and that was his concern, is they were gonna back all the way to the highway, so.
That makes sense.
And
Keep
they
driving.
did, on the November 5th meeting, they did, hire a third person, another part-time person.
No, is that in the
No,
salary
that isn't.
ordinance?
No, that is an
We'll
issue.
have to hold those up until the first of the year, so.
Tried to help them out
Well,
on
they
the
still
first
have to
one.
be in the salary ordinance, even if they're not paid out of general, so.
So are they
When the
being
emails were
paid
going around the
already?
other day, I checked the
Third
statute,
person?
we have to
That
set the
I'm
number.
aware of. I think they just came and got their paperwork this week.
Is this gonna cover them, or are we gonna have to do another additional? Don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna say what I figured it should.
Well, you can't, I guess what I'm saying is you can't really pay a third person because we only have two in the salary ordinance. So in order for them to hire a third person, they would have to come ask for an amendment of the salary ordinance. And they're still subject to the line, what's in the line. So they'd also have to ask for the additional appropriation, which you're doing for them, of course, right now, but,
What's the,
so you can't
I
really
guess
add a third person on payroll. there,
this
is what I'm saying.
invoice from,
But
Some-
that's-
yeah,
That
for the
was one.
signs?
Yes. I didn't receive that till October the 10th. I thought it was in the pile. I thought that had been in the additionals that would have been paid October the 14th, and it was not. So I thought Mandy had it. I did not. Jason sent me that on the 10th, and that's when I discovered it was not in, it had not been turned in.
So the signage out there is $1,921.25.
Did we not already appropriate for that? Long time
I
ago?
think we did, but
We did, it's like $800.
I think it's in printing and advertising of $800 is sitting there, but that's only gonna pay about half of it, so. I don't
So
know.
we really don't even need to do the whole 19,
I mean, I think-
21, we could do
The
$900.
difference, yeah, $900 of that, and then use that 800 as printing and advertising, cause I mean, that would fit in this and
No, wait a
then,
minute, I'm wrong, $1,100.
Yeah, 11.
yeah.
$1,121, right? Because it's 800,
Yeah.
and it's 1,900,
Right.
It's cheaper.
so it'd have
Yeah,
to be like
$1,100.
$1,200 instead.
Yeah, but it sure doesn't help my lines, John. Watch out.
So do we wanna move that to 1,200 and then use the 800 they have here?
We can do that if you want to.
What's everybody's feelings on
Good
that?
to me.
What we got?
Moving, instead of paying $1,921, use the 800 that they have in printing and advertising, add $1,200 to that to pay this bill.
That makes it 10,160 for the entire appropriation.
Alright. So we're gonna change that to $1,200. And then the $8,960 for personal services would take it to, I mean, we're just under 40 grand out of the 25,000 that was budgeted. So I guess we would have an additional appropriation on ordinance 2025-92, the total amount of $10,160, which is $8,960 in personal services or employees, and then $1,200 in this sign bill.
And that's already been done, the sign.
Yeah, it was 8/13 was the date on it, and she got it October.
10/10 is when it's emailed to me.
So it's already been done and we owe that bill.
I move we take 10,100.
Who authorized to pay $1,900 for a sign that only has a line appropriated $800? I didn't think it was you.
I'd say the person that ordered the sign. But that's not on here. Probably the same person who told us this whole thing was gonna be $90,000. More about what, $180 in now? So what you say, the motion for the $10,160 to the transfer station from the general fund by Collins. Is there a second on that?
You know, pay our bills.
I'll second.
Second by Lizenby. Any other questions or comments to this? The only thing I would say is, in some time, do we have an idea of what we've spent totally at the transfer? Or whenever you get a minute,
I do have, I can
fire
send
that
it
to
you,
me and I'll
yeah.
send it out to everybody.
And Kimberly's did an excellent job of
That
it's on a
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet. It'll show you each,
Those were the
Tab.
additional
it'll show you what was spent on the scales, what was spent on the IDM
Yeah,
cost, and what
that's
was the normal.
That's through August.
The revenue coming in is helping. I mean, it's gotta be
It's
helping.
not helping us, 'cause
tremendously.
it's going into an account that
Yeah,
is gonna start
26.
26,
yeah,
but it's not helping 25.
okay.
The bleed is still continuing there in 2025.
Well, I think it would be helpful if department heads and other elected officials understood you can't, if you have $800 in a line for a sign, you can't go out and then agree to spend $1,900 without coming here first to make sure you're gonna get the appropriation. Because this is where you guys get into a plethora of trouble, is that we gotta pay the bills, right? We just had to now take $1,200 away out of the general fund. We gave them 800 when they asked for it, and nobody came first and said, hey, we really like this nicer sign, or whatever it is that made the sign double. So people not coming before, but then you guys are put in the position of, okay, what are we gonna do? Not pay our bills? Get sued for not paying the bill? I mean,
And just so everybody knows, this covers one 4x8 6mm board sign that was $600, one 4x8 3mm board sign that was $500, one 4x8 by 18-inch sign that was $93.75, and two 24-inch by 24-inch signs that were $75 each, two 12 by 18-inch stop on red signs at $45 each. And then number sets is $175. That equals the $1,921.25, which, like Heather said, you only had $800 to spend, so you went drastically over budget again.
So the remedy is to pay it, the remedy is not pay it?
I mean,
gotta pay our
you-
bills.
right, you gotta pay your bills. That's
I'm
what
where
the
we're stuck.
conundrum you get in, and that's why people keep doing that.
And it's
They
the
know
same
they gotta
people.
pay the
Well, I
bills.
don't mean the remedy to pay it, the remedy to stop it is,
You let me know and I'd love to.
Yeah,
That's-
I'm
The
with
minute
you.
I've sat in this seat, that's what I've always.
That's the
just
problem.
went.
You
I
try,
don't-
you
I
try
don't
to get
understand
creative,
it.
and
I
then
don't
we get
understand
into
well, I
bigger
mean, there's no
problems.
punishment for doing that.
Right.
They have nothing,
And that's the scary part of
Yeah.
going into this project or city hall is,
I agree.
you know, in the email chain where I got my head slaughtered off over asking a question is because of this right here. Because you went and spent $1,921.25 when you knew or should have known you only had $800 to spend. But then it sticks us with, you gotta pay the bills or this poor small business that's in our county doesn't get paid. And that's not fair to them.
We've been there, that's no fun.
So,
Yeah.
but Collins made a motion to pay and we had a second by someone, I already lost, Lizenby. So all in favor of paying this? Again,
I'm just curious, if I'm the rookie here, how many times do they do that stuff?
well, we've put a roof on a building without asking for any money. We've
We're at appropriation number 93.
On
93
cars,
bought
appropriation.
cars without talking to the council. We've bought lawn mowers without talking to the council. We've bought mowers that the council told us no to. List goes on.
If they get it in their budget, they can spend it.
That's all not.
If it goes out of the budget, they have to come back.
If it's not in their budget, we have to do an additional appropriation.
But and
We've
it's
done
a,
93
it's a very
this year.
valid question. The problem is
Well,
exactly
sorry.
like you heard here is there's no punishment. There's no repercussion. You know, if you go home tonight and drive in your driveway in a new Cadillac Escalade and tell your wife you bought it, I'm sure there's gonna be some,
Oh, I'm
some problems. The problem here is, well, we gotta pay the bill. And we're not wrong. We gotta pay the bill. And I'm not saying anybody is. I'm just saying, what's,
It's hard to plan.
what do you do whenever that's where you're backed into that corner over there and said, you either owe this small business double the amount of money that was budgeted,
And it's not the businessman's fault.
and it's not their fault,
No.
or
No,
what
but
do
it's
you
hard to
do?
budget because you're almost appropriating almost half of what you budgeted for the year in additional appropriations throughout the year. We can't fiscally sustain that. So at some point, you're gonna have to say the office holder, well, I'm sorry you made a bad deal. you're gonna, you know, I mean, I guess you could start suing the office, the people that are making the decisions and say you went way outside your budget. You outdid an Ultra Powers Act.
But then
You're
that,
gonna pay for it, or bond's gonna pay for it. or-
so here's you an example. The 2025 transfer station was budgeted, and when we set through budgets in 24, $177,800. That's what was budgeted to them. Where is this?
Well, it's not just a transfer station either.
No, it's not, but I'm just using this one as an example so we can see it. For this year so far, the total appropriation has been $323,418. Now, you see my problem? And the only thing we were told, or that I know of differently, was a $90,000 project to put a set of scales in. Well, that's a far cry from 177 to 323. So that's why I get frustrated. But yet I digress. We shall move on. No, you're good. Drug-free community. This is the grant is this the one we talked about that was short, we had to fix?
Yes, and actually, I should have asked for a transfer. I think we got a transfer that I'll have to do in December. I got the
Okay.
additional, I just didn't get the transfer done. That we'll have to do, but that was the one that Chris Miller sends to us.
And this is actually Cease, you heard about the corporation, they get grant money. I'll try to explain it. It gets, see Kevin, thanks. Gets kind of confusing, but we as a county get grant money from the state. It goes in a fund and then they're the administrators of it because it has to be administrated as a third party. So Cease administrates the grant money the county gets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So their additional appropriation isn't like it's coming out of general fund money. It's coming out of the grant money that they get, that they are the administrators of. So this one's a little bit differently. Most additional appropriations that we look a little harder on is the ones like Jennifer said, we look at those accounts as the general fund and the LITs, which is the local income tax. Sorry, I got something in my eye. But in this one, it's under other services and charges, and it's a total of $1,500. I'll entertain a motion for Cease for a grant. Motion by Elizabeth, second by Cheatham. And the total amount, $1,568.34. All in favor of that? 7-0. Yeah. And then we have
And then I need somebody to move, put me on the agenda.
a transfer for 2025-43. This is the one for the recorder that I forgot to print. And I'm not 100% sure, but didn't we go from part-time deputy to part-time admin? Now we're going back. Because we did one,
I think we've made
Move
two transfers in the
something.
same
Is
direction.
it the same?
I'm not certain on that, but I think we.
but either way, Sarah's needing $83.09 transferred within her budget. So I'll motion for that. Motion from Collins for that transfer, second by Miller. All in favor? 7-0. And then, let's take care of that. I need a motion to add Heather to the agenda to talk about the bond thing,
I'll make
I
that.
got two things.
or two things. Motion by Miller, second by Collins, all in favor of the amendment, 7-0.
So late today, thank you guys. Late today, I got an email from Jason Stemler at Baker Tilly, just wanting approval. They're looking at two avenues for shopping the bond. One is the S&P Global, asking them to rate it. The other is through a bank. They're believing that they might get better, fees and financials through the bank, but we won't really know until tomorrow. So absent having a special meeting to get the S&P retainer agreement, if we wanted to go that way, he gave me, and this was literally, I was driving on the way here when he got it, the S&P just retainer for the fees if we wanted to go that route. So I'm asking for an approval of that contingent on Jason and Bo and I saying, okay, that's the route we're gonna go. Otherwise, I think if we're better served on interest rates and fees going to a bank, that we just go with the bank. But I didn't wanna have to bring you guys back here for a special meeting since we're meeting tonight, and it's not something that'll be final till, we'll know until tomorrow. So I don't know if you guys want me to pass it around, you could pass it contingent on you guys saying okay, or, you know, however you wanna do it, or I can pass it around, you guys can look at it while we talk about, do you have the interlocal for the animal?
I can print it if we need to.
I don't know.
I don't have it.
Well, we can just discuss it,
We
because
can
if she
discuss
doesn't
it.
have it, that's
Purpose
fine.
is it for them to get us lower rates? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, they're trying to get lower rates and fees, lower interest rate, lower
Yes, I guess you do, I forgot about.
S&P, just to look at it, it's a credit rating fee of $16,000, and that's what this is about, is saying, hey, yes, we agree to pay you that credit rating fee, you'll go through the credit rating process, and get us the best fees and buyers. Yeah, that comes out of the bond money, so they just wanted approval so we didn't have to come back, and do a special meeting if we needed it like tomorrow. Oh, sorry. Is there enough there for everybody and me, or just everybody?
We're not sure. We've had those.
We're good. I got two.
No, I have one that's just not signed.
You need one, Jim?
Who doesn't have one?
I think we're all good.
Was it citrus or?
So do you guys have a
we-
preference on this, on the S&P?
Okay, maybe I've got it. and I
The
just forgot about it. Okay.
S&P bond thing, do we wanna approve it contingent on which way is better rates? Do you want to?
This is for animal shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a
it.
minute, sir.
Signed it, so-
They just signed the contract.
That's animal shelter.
Would you, I still want, what do you guys wanna do with the S&P? Do you guys wanna approve that based on whether Bo and Jason and I in discussion think that's the way to go tomorrow? Or do you wanna come back and have a special meeting if we need it?
What would be the purpose of waiting? Another
You
meeting?
would know which way.
We might say we don't need to go this way at all. But I'm not gonna pull this trigger, if you approve it even, I'm not gonna pull that trigger unless
Okay.
unless
Whichever one.
discussions with attorneys feel
So
like
it
that's a
wouldn't
better.
benefit us really to okay it. We might as well just wait.
Well, but if
Then you-
tomorrow the lender comes back and we think, we'll probably get better rates and fees through the S&P, so maybe we need to go that way, then we gotta come back and approve this.
Then you have to have a special meeting
Yeah.
within 48 hours, come in here and approve this thing.
So it's up to you guys.
I move that we go with Heather's suggestion.
I agree with that.
Motion on the floor.
Did you make a suggestion?
Yeah, I did, I sort of.
Motion by Collins, second by Lizzie.
said it good too.
I don't try to
All in favor of that S&P global method. All right, 7-0 on that.
So I sent you the Word, so now to move on, thank you guys, move on to the interlocal. I sent you the Word copy before, because I don't think I had the signed copy.
No, and there it is. I'm sorry, I forgot we
What?
had it.
I may have it right here.
Zach, no,
Does
it is-
everybody's,
She's got it now,
It is.
Jennifer
That's all
had
we
it.
had. I just,
Zach had emailed me about that this was supposed to come, that Jennifer had the signed copy. I said, well, I haven't seen it, so he sent me the Word copy, which is what I sent you.
The issue I had with it,
Talking about
reading it through it, is
same thing we had.
it's the same thing we had, and it doesn't explain like what our money pays, or do we pay net? Do we pay gross? Are we paying like what? It's the exact same agreement with no change in the wording, which is kind of, I thought what we wanted was kind of some stipulation saying,
In my opinion, I wouldn't sign this until they sign the agreement to help us with 911 of the animal service. Point blank.
Well, I think when I brought up
Myself.
my concerns to
Fair.
Zach, he said, well, what are we gonna do for animal service then?
I mean, that's,
This is the same thing we've done for 50 years, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any
Yeah,
difference.
well,
I don't
and
know if that's bad or not, I just,
Well, and I was sort of shocked because I thought you guys had been pretty clear that we wanted to take this opportunity to renegotiate, because there were issues about,
I move that we table it.
okay,
fair enough.
well,
second that.
I'm guessing they probably, and it is a commissioner's job to do the, but
Well,
then
we
it's
have
our job, I agree.
we have to sign
I'm
off on it
just- I
too.
know, I'm saying that, and I don't know if they gave much thought to us.
Right.
Maybe, but Zach, I mean, I know between Zach and I, he was pretty clear, and I think Randy said it here a couple times when you guys have
Yeah.
talked about, you know, the issues with it, and that we needed to know if we're paying net or gross, what happens to the income that comes in? If we're giving you $1 million towards your budget, but you get a donation of $1 million, why are we still paying you $1 million? So those were kind of the issues. So anyways, you have a motion to table.
Yeah, second.
So motion by Collins to table this, second by John Miller.
Hang on.
Questions or comments?
Before we vote, I mean, so we're gonna table it, Well, what are we gonna do in the meantime? We're gonna meet with the city, or what are we gonna do here?
Well, we wouldn't be able to unless the commissioners want to include us in it, but they have to draw up any agreements, and then I think they would have to be the body that negotiates.
Well, I think
an
we should be
agreement,
part
right?
of it too, but I think it has to include the commissioner. So in an interlocal, both the commissioners and the council have to sign off. So I think there should be discussions, between the entities and whatever bodies those are for the town or the city of Scottsburg and Austin and the council and the commissioners, in Scott County, and try to figure out, this is what we had for 50 years. We want something a little different that sort of redefines and just clears it up. I don't think we're asking for anything
What is it
different.
we want? We wanna know where they're spending the money?
Well, if we're donating then $1 million,
Well, I don't know, donate.
well, I'm just saying though, if our share of the
I don't know
county
how much ours
is-
is.
50%.
is 50%,
Yeah.
we'll say it's 500,000, we donate,
Yeah.
or we give to the animal shelter. Okay, there's having fees there as well. Where do those fees go to? If they're showing, if we've donated and the cities that donated and Austin has and Scottsburg both has, we all have given them money to fund the shelter. But when they're charging fees, where's that money going to? I mean, is it divided back amongst the 25% to each entity and 50 to us, or?
And and this doesn't say, I don't know if it's gross via net. I think that, Zach gave me a number, somebody could call and figure that out. And I'm like, but I don't really care what they're actually doing right now. I want it here in writing that this is what we're gonna do 5 years from now.
And I kind of.
That it's gonna be net, not gross.
That, like, we're
What
paying
about
50% of animal, but we're footing 100% of the bill for our 911 center. And every police officer in the county who types a report, we save their report, we save their documents, all their stuff on our system with no benefit there.
Plus we do the
Like-
rentals.
Now, I
All
think,
the rental stuff, the call outs for, different things in the cities. I think we need to have a sit down at a table and talk about some of these.
my understanding is Austin is thinking about getting back in on paying their fee on the 911.
I've
I've
talked
been
to both
told that.
mayors and they aren't opposed to it, but, what they both told me was they want the 911 board to come back, and I shared that with them, that they should have a seat at the table for decisions being made, which is kind of mirroring what we're saying here. We don't have any
We haven't
skin in the
discussed
game,
it
we're
with-
just paying the bill.
But you guys need to think too, if we don't do this, what will you do if the city just say, okay, well, we'll just do it ourselves through our budget? I mean,
And then
you
there'd be
guys,
nothing out in the county.
You would
well,
have
and
to-
there would be opportunities to contract, I'm sure, but you can't enter into a contract. You can just appropriate money for a
Right.
contract. So you would have to get the commissioners to. So I mean, what I would really suggest is that the president of the council and the president of the commissioners try to get together and decide what they want to do. Do they want to meet with the city, the mayors and the attorneys and, how do you guys want to handle it, negotiate
I'm
it?
assuming we have to have this done by December.
It would be nice to go into.
Well, I mean,
January.
that
I
gives you
think you
time
guys
to
are still
negotiate whatever.
operating under the prior, but I think that, what did you budget for that animal shelter next year?
The full, I think.
Did you? Okay, so you've
I
got
think
the
we
budget
ended up coming
appropriated.
back.
Because I think somebody said 0, which sort of scares me, because then, yes, we would have to
Well,
figure
I
out.
just,
No, I think
We got a budget for it already. So let's table it until the 9th meeting and put it back on the agenda for the 9th. Can you do that?
all in favor of tabling it. James Ritchie, you in on tabling or?
I think I got a second on this one, probably.
So 6-1 abstain. I don't blame you a bit. I just want to make sure I didn't want to leave you out. So we'll table it and then we'll put it back on the agenda for December. And I will reach out to Commissioner Board and see if they're willing to maybe talk about contract.
and maybe they did, but we just don't know it, but, yeah. We don't know what they did, we just know
You know,
what.
you talk about a 911 board, it'd be good to have a board for that too. And if you're gonna look at it like that,
And
just my opinion.
I wish I could speak up a little more, because I know Janet spoke with you, she spoke with me
And she
briefly
called me and
on
we
it, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know in depth enough to sit here and try to explain it.
Well, I guess I was a little shocked too that Zach and Josh Stigdon had talked about this and I wasn't included, because I definitely would have brought my client's perspective and my client's fiscal concerns to the table, but I'm pretty sure Randy sat here when we've talked about it. And I know I've talked to Zach about it before, so it's sort of, I mean, it's obviously on you guys to do what you want, but I know we've talked about this before. It just seems like no one listened. They just said, okay, we're just gonna reaffirm the 50-year-old contract.
Cause these, I mean, how else do we have to do this thing? I know we went like,
Well, and that's another thing, because I've
Yeah.
always been taught that you have to put a specific duration, and it does have to have a duration, but this just says the duration is it remains in effect unless otherwise amended by paragraph 8.
the last one they did was
It says until it's,
20-something years ago, yeah.
well, this is the really weird thing. It says it is valid, the duration is full force from the date of its execution and remains in full force and effect unless otherwise amended by agreement or section 8, which is declared void or invalid. So we would have to agree to amend it. Everybody that's party, all three parties would have to agree to amend it, or it would have to be void or unenforceable.
You know,
So
just-
pretty much you can't get out of it.
and I don't have a problem waiting on it, just from my discussions with Jan, I think most of our answers are gonna be taken care of. I don't think there was.
Well, then just put it in writing, but I also
Yeah,
think
okay.
I think there should also be a way out, other than we either have to have court declare it void, invalid, or unenforceable, or everybody here has to agree, all three parties, both cities and the county have to agree to amend it. I think that if we decide we want out because we're gonna open our own animal shelter, we find out it's cheaper to contract with somebody for animal services, you should be able to give a 180-day notice, or, I mean, it's hard to extricate yourself when people are depending on 50% of their budget to come from you, but at the same time, you guys should have a way out if you find a cheaper, more fiscally responsible way for the people of the county.
And just for the record, before we put this one to bed, 2025 budgeted was $156,025. 26, I want to say it was in the 170 range, maybe. I have to look back at the numbers, but, so, yeah, we're not talking a huge amount of money, like millions, but we're also talking, we're giving 156,000 to this program. I think the language could be lawyered up a little bit better, in my opinion. And I think we need to get all of the parties together at a table and have a discussion about other interlocal agreements and working together within the county to make things best we can. We'll talk about it again in December. I will work on it. Do you have minutes?
I do, I have, and there's a lot of minutes here because of the budget hearings, but some of those are needed.
I move we approve the minutes.
If you want to just lay them out, we'll sign them. The motion to approve the minutes made by Collins, second by Elizabeth. All in favor of signing and approving minutes, 7-0 on that. You won't have to sign too many of them, Jeremiah, but we all will. Do you got anything else for us?
The only thing, just to sign the salary
Salary
ordinances
ordinance,
too, yeah,
we'll have it out
I'll
there.
put those with them.
I move we adjourn.
All right, motion to
I'll second
adjourn, second by, made by
You keep
Collins,
keep
second
using
by Miller.
Same.
No, if you just get them signed, I'll get them back to you.
All in favor of adjournment,
I don't vote on it.
7-0. We're off for it, whenever you are.
Where's Paul? Similar, and I didn't know it was.
Pass them down. There you go, return.